So with that, I want to move closer to the future by moving more into modern times. And I want to start with the Ottoman period. The Ottoman Turks ruled this land from 1517 until 1917. And one of the things that is associated with that period are these. I don't know how many of you are familiar with these. These are prickly pear fruit, otherwise known as sabras. It is a cactus fruit. And as many of you may know, sabras are actually the nickname that we apply to native-born Israelis. And they say it's because they're prickly on the outside, but sweet on the inside. Very sweet, very nice. What I find fascinating, what I think is really cool, is that sabra fruit, these are actually not indigenous to Israel. All cacti are only indigenous in the Western Hemisphere. They are New World foods. And so the food that we are using to describe native-born Israelis is actually an immigrant. But I actually find that appropriate as well, because I want to start by saying we know with certainty from evidence that there has never been a time since 2,000 years ago until today where there were no Jews living in the land of Israel. There was always some. But for a large stretch of the time, it was very, very few. So there's very few people living in Israel today that theoretically could trace their roots nonstop in Israel back to the temple times. Some. But many people here can trace their roots back in this land 5 generations, 10 generations, a long time here. And so they are maybe the children of immigrants, but many of them are the children of immigrants from way, way back. So even the native-born Israelis, if you go back, they're not new immigrants like me, but they're old immigrants just like the sabra. And so it's a very appropriate food to talk about that. They were primarily brought there during the Ottoman period. It would have to be because, as I said, New World foods, which means until Columbus arrives in the Western Hemisphere, they're not known over here. And the Ottomans rule here from 1517, just 20 years or so after that. So clearly it would be in the Ottoman period that they arrived here.